Assalamu alaikum everyone. We are all back again with yet another interesting and amazing topic, social emotional learning. With me today is Miss Maruk Harris, and she will going to say something, not something, a lot about social emotional learning. Hello Maruk, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Ji Maruk, just I want you to give a small introduction of yours and then the stage is all yours.
Okay. By qualification, I am master's in mathematics and I'm a teacher, catering to all A-level students, all subjects of mathematics. And I've been part of very renowned institution as well. And throughout my career, it's been more than 12 years now teaching to students and guiding them through different things other than mathematics. So
Great.
today I have chosen a topic that is very much needed for both teachers, students, and school leaders as well. So without wasting much time, I would like to start with the topic.
Okay, let's begin, Marok. And here we go. Okay, now the stage is all yours, Marok.
Thank you. So we will be talking about social emotional learning, which is also called as SEL. And the questions for our session, or the things that I will be covering up in my session, will be: what is it all about? What is SEL? And how it helps or promotes success in school and our daily life. And then we will be going to learn about empathy, which is very much important and it is directly related to our today's topic. And before starting my session, I would like to, or all of us should ask ourselves, what are our hopes and dreams for our children and the children in our community? So, as a parent, as a teacher, as a school leader, as an adult, we all have dreams for our children. We want to give them the best, or we want to see what we haven't achieved. We want them to achieve in their lives. We want to save them from the problems that we have whichever we have seen in our lives. So if we connect this, our hopes, our dreams, we can directly connect it to the social emotional learning, which is an integral part of everyone's life. So when we talk about social emotional learning, there are few things that come in our mind. What is it? What is it is all about? What is social emotional learning? So maybe in our mind, we may come across few words like behavior, like self awareness, how to regulate our emotions, how to behave, how to respond to certain situations, etc. So, if we summarize it, it is basically SEL basically
Uh,
builds. Yes,
Marok, I have a question here. When we are
yeah.
talking about the behavior, the manners,
Mm-hmm.
is it only that we are hoping from the students or from the children?
No,
When we are
basically,
saying that they reflect us, whatever we do.
yes, yeah. It is adults first, and then the children. We need
Yeah.
to teach them these skills, and empathy is one of them. We need to teach these skills to ourselves first, and then we will, whatever we will perform in front of our younger generation, they will follow that. So it is us who needs to practice to learn, and then it will be fostered to other. So, if I talk about how it helps, it basically builds and deepens a positive school climate. It's not about the school climate only, it's about our daily life situations. Being an adult, being a school leader, even if you're not in education, it helps in daily life, our routine things, and other stuff. So, how it helps and how it is defined basically, SEL helps us to understand and manage our emotions like anxiety, like anger, like joy, happiness. And when you do so, it sets and it helps us to achieve our positive goals in our life. It also helps us to show empathy empathy for others, how they feel, if we have an idea how others are feeling, how we have behaved with them. So it helps, and it really helps us to communicate with them in a very positive manner. And it, of course, then develop positive relationships. And then when you are behaving well and you are taking responsibility of your behavior, you ultimately are responsible for the decisions as well. So this is how SEL is defined. Now, if I talk about the competencies of SEL, it has five things in it. It's the self-management, is the responsible decision making, is the relationship skills, is the social awareness, and it is the self-awareness. What is the most important, which I feel, is self-awareness, because if you are not truly and self-aware about yourself, you cannot behave well, you cannot teach anyone anything, right? So let's move on to how students learning experience. What is basically our student learning experience? When we think from a student's perspective, how do they learn? If we talk about their experience, the first thing is their family and the community. How their family terms are, their parents, their siblings, and the community in
Their
which they are
bonding, their
living.
connection with their parents.
Exactly. And then, of course, the instruction and the curriculum that they have been taught. It's not only, if we see, the learning experience is not only academics, it's many other things. And the climate that we are giving our students, no matter how good a curriculum is, how good a teacher is, how good the system is, if the environment and the climate is not supportive and safe, a student will not learn. He or
Definitely.
she will not give his her full capacity, and ultimately that will be a decline in their academic performance. So these are three things that makes a student learning experience good or bad.
That is why we many times talk about safety and healthy environment in the classroom.
E- Exactly, exactly. That is why many a times, other than teaching, we are in a phase of resolving issues, conflicts, fights, and other stuff. So if a teacher is self-aware, he or she can resolve issues very quickly.
Yes. And if she has
So
a bonding with which the child
exactly,
feels safe, okay, that I'm going to
yes,
share this problem with my teacher easily,
right.
that even can help this child to adjust itself, adjust himself in the classroom.
Exactly, exactly. And that is what I will be talking about in the last part of my presentation. How we can prevent it, how we can learn it, and how and what should we do it. So, if I see how it helps promote success in school life, ACL, there are few things. When you talk about ACL, it has some skills, some instructions that we have already talked about, the self awareness and other stuff. What it helps is, it just create a positive learning climate, and instruction strategies are there. Like a student feels safe, he feels cared, everything is well managed. And then when you do so, students have high expectations. What happens in short term, what are the short term outcomes there is, there is greater attachment, engagement, and commitment to school. Students are happy, they're happy to come to school, they're happy to attend class, they're happy to learn. Because the environment is so they're so safe and supportive, they feel happy about it. And there is less risky behavior, there are less bullying issues in the classroom, because there is a lot of positive environment, there is positive development in the school, in the classroom. And if we see about the long term outcomes of ACL, it's a greater success in school, work, and life. Your school, people talk high about it. There are certain classrooms, there are certain teachers who are loved by the students, and because of ACL, that's the only reason, because students feel connected to the teacher. They feel
And that is
happy.
how we actually create those memorable memories.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So, according to a research on ACL and student success, it has been seen that there is an increased academic outcome in the standardized test. If you see, there is an 11% gain. And what has happened, it has reduced the risk of failure, because when you are accommodating students need emotionally and the academically, a student will feel safe, and there will be a decrease in the stress level of the student that will ultimately uplift the academic result of the child. So this is a small research on ACL that I have shared. There's a whole other topic regarding that. Now, as you asked me in the start, that is it the only students task to perform ACL, to perform empathy? That's not the case. What happens when adults do it? When adults recognize, they understand, and they know how to manage their emotions, that automatically helps in communicating them in a better way with the students, with their staff, with their colleagues. What helps with the teachers, if a teacher is less stressful, if the teacher is less burdened, the teacher knows how to tackle with the situation, with the emotions, there's a less burnout. And what happens in the classroom, the teacher goes happy, there's a positive effect while teaching that results in better understanding of the curriculum, and students understand better, and there are more good grades among that certain teacher who's performing ACL. Now, if I talk about school leaders who are performing ACL to the fullest, they are building a very positive environment among the teachers, and because of that, the same positive environment is delegated to the students, to the classroom. What happens in result? A happy, a safe, and a very good school climate, a
It's
safer
like a
place.
loop. It's like a loop.
Exactly. Yes. It has to start from the top, then it goes to the bottom. So
Yes.
we are basically the responsible ones who should do it. Now I'm moving on to the main part, that is empathy. How to do that. Now, empathy is directly linked to self awareness. If you are not aware of your emotions, you don't know how to tackle it, you cannot do it for others. So, if you talk about empathy, it involves understanding of another's feelings, thoughts, and wishes, and when we do so, we communicate them in a better way, we understand them in a better way. So, that's how empathy works. Now, we also have to see why it is necessary. I mean, there has to be certain things that are linked with it. Why is it important? Why should we practice it? Why should we teach it to our students? The main purpose of self awareness is empathy, and what happens in it is bullying is a social problem in schools,
Common
in
one.
education, in a very common one, and many a times teachers, students, parents fail to understand it, and they fail to respond it in a better way. So if you have a knowledge of empathy, and you know how to tackle others feelings, you know how to share your strengths, your interest, and how to tackle with the weakness of the student, you can make a very better climate for it. Like, if you're using empathy, automatically there will be an increase in the self awareness. What happens in result, if you see someone is bullying a child and you are aware of that, what will happen in return is you are practicing empathy, you are stopping the bully, the victim as well, and then it will automatically be reduced in an overall environment. And the one who is a victim, he knows or she knows that yes, my teacher knows what is going on, and he or she feels safe. What happens in it, that child who was bullied will control his emotions, he or she knows how to respond, when to report, what to do. So what happens in use of empathy, it increased chance of intervening correctly, basically, both from the student side and from the teacher side.
Teacher side.
Yeah. Now, of course, when we talk about empathy, there are a few benefits of it psychologically. I'll talk about neurological benefits as well. Now, what happens is when a student is in a stress, if he or she is being bullied, what happens it is there is an increase in their heart rate, in their blood pressure, and the stress hormones, they start to ignite. Now, in that situation, if a teacher, if an adult help that student in a correct manner, in a correct way, what will happen? The student will be calmed down automatically, his heart rate will decrease, there will be a decrease in the blood pressure, there will be decrease in the stress hormone, and ultimately the student will think more correctly. The student will be more aware how to respond to the situation. So if you're teaching your student and you are teaching yourself as well empathy, that will automatically result in benefit for the students as well.
The student will might show the positive attitude towards the teacher and towards the person who has been
Yes,
he bullied
yes,
by.
exactly. And that will help this child to handle the situation. Even if an adult is not there, he or she knows how to handle the situation.
Yes.
Okay. So next thing is, what are the neurological benefits about it? We have two sides of our brain, the left brain and the right brain. Now,
Okay.
our left brain is designed to approach emotions, and these emotions are the ones that we share, like the optimism, the control, the joy, the anger. These are the things that we show. The right side of the brain is control withdrawal emotions. Like if you are in fear, you don't express it. If you are in fear, in anxiety, sadness, if you're hopeless, you tend to avoid situations. Now, if you know about the words. Our words, whatever we speak, are related to the left side of the brain. What happens if you're using them correctly? You know how to practice empathy, you know how to do SEL, the older skills there. What happens? Those things are re- directed to the left brain, and it will result in a positive outcome. You will feel calm, you will feel relaxed, and you will see how you are responding to the situation positively. So these are the psychological and neurological benefits of empathy. If you're practicing it, you are teaching it, you know how to approach your emotions, when to withdraw, what to do in which situation.
It's like a computer, whatever you input, after processing
Yes,
it, after knowing it that this is right and
exactly.
this is wrong, you will going to show the outcome, the output will be the better one.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Now, we also have to learn how empathy works. There is a certain channel, as you have just talked about input, process, and outcome. It has a chain. Now, how it works, you need to listen, you need to identify feelings, thoughts, and needs, and then you need to communicate accordingly. For example, a student complains to his or her parent that my teacher always picked me up. Now you need to identify, you need to listen to it first. You don't have to react. You need to identify feelings. Whether my child is feeling sad, or is his feeling correct, and is he afraid of that? And then you communicate accordingly. You need to identify the feelings. You don't have to guide them, you don't have to lecture them. You need to listen them very, very calmly. You need to drop everything and just sit and listen to your child.
And lecturing is this basically a desi and the typical way which every parent adapt nowadays.
Yes,
Instead
yes,
of
and
listening
that's
they start giving them कि ये नहीं करना वो नहीं करना ऐसे करना है वैसे करना है instead of listening to the child.
exactly, exactly. So the step one is you need to listen to your word. Then, for example, I'll give you one more example. For example, you have a daughter and she has two friends, so three in a group, and the two friends left your daughter and your daughter isn't feeling good about it. Now, you need to think on few things. You need to identify it. What is my child thinking? What is she feeling? What is her wish? What should I do about it? And what should what conflicts should she be coming across? What she will be experiencing about that? So in that case, you need to communicate. Now, when you're communicating, you don't have to use the word I. Like, I will do that if I was in your situation. I would have done that. No, you need to think, you need to say, your if you want to communicate about the scenario that your daughter was left out, her friends left her out, you can say you think that they don't like you and you are not sure why they acted that way, and then you need to tell her you feel rejected about it. You need to quote the word, the behavior, and what you wish that they were with you, or they should have taken you with themselves, or you are thinking about that you are not good, you are not that good among themselves, you are not up to the mark, and then maybe part of you want, maybe you are sad, while the other part of you want to go to them and tell them how you're feeling, how sad you are, or how left out you feel. So you need to communicate in that way. You need to talk to your child about that. After listening, after identifying her or his emotions, then you will communicate about that. Now, if I talk about typical responses versus empathetic responses, I'll talk about the first word, that is listen. Now, the first thing that we will talk about is lecture. We don't have to lecture our child every time. And how it will happen? For example, your child has hit another child, and the child's statement is, he hit me first. Now, the typical response of a parent is, just because he did it does not mean you have to. Now, this is a wrong response. You should not do it. You should tell them, it's not fair. He did the same thing and didn't get caught. You need to tell your child that whatever was done was incorrect, but whatever you have done is also not good. So there are different responses that we should learn. We should not just give our typical response that you should have done it, or you should have done something bad. You should listen, communicate about it. You should
One
not
way or the
lecture your
other, the
child.
meaning is same, but the
Exactly.
words matter. The words matter.
Words matter because our brain process words. So if you're using correct words at the correct time, you will end up with a better situation.
Yes.
Okay. So the second thing is ignore. What we do usually, we ignore our child. We don't listen. We don't we don't listen to their feelings. We ignore their concerns, and it really hurts them. Many times our child needs our attention. They want us to listen to them, their problems and other stuff. So, for example, there is another example here. Those kids hate me. They keep rolling their eyes when I talk. So, a typical response is, I am sure they don't hate you, they are only teasing. You just need to calm your child, and this is a very maybe 90% of the parents do this, that they just want to calm their child. But on the other hand, what is the correct response? You know what they mean, what they meant. So you should tell your child that you know what they meant, and your child will then see and will think that he should ignore such children who avoids them. So he
Correct.
should be aware of other feelings, others' responses, and he should not feel left out. He should know, yes, I have to go from here. This is not the way. Someone should do it. You should tell them straight, because if you not do so, the child will always feel guilty. He or himself may go in complexes and will only blame him or herself that I am not good for them, I am not good for the society and other stuff. This
He or she
this is a
might
little
lose the
problem.
confidence also.
Exactly, self confidence, it will be shattered.
Yes.
So, again, suggestion. We always suggest without going deep into the situation. We suggest, things, you should do this or that, without listening to the child's point of view. So, we have one more response here. John keeps telling me he will beat me up if I don't give him my money. Now, the response is, stand up to him, go to the principal, go to the teacher, tell his parents and other stuff, but The other response is you are scared that if you retaliate, it will make matters worse. Now, your child knows he or she has to retaliate, but the intensity, how aggressive he should be, how he should approach the child, he will calculate it and then he will retaliate in that manner. He knows the consequences that if he will retaliate, what will happen. But you should tell him that if you retaliate, you should know how much you have to do that.
How you will going to control that scenario.
Exactly. Because if you're retaliating, you should control your emotions as well. You should know what's the limit. You should not cross that.
Yes.
So, next is teach. Do not try to teach children self social awareness. You cannot make them sit and teach that if this happens, you have to do that. You can't teach them. You need to practice it first, and then you can teach them by practicing it. When they will see you practicing it, they will learn it. So you don't have to teach them, you need to show them. A child behavior statement: if I tell them not to gossip, then they will gossip about me. Now, students are gossiping at someone's beck, and the child knows that I'm not liking it. They're gossiping about something, but if I say the same thing, don't gossip, they will talk about me, and then I don't want them to do so. So the typical response is real friends don't talk behind each other's back. Plus, if they do it to her, they will do it to you. So, what we have to do is, you want to do the right thing, but are afraid they will talk behind your back. Now, the child will think that if I will tell them to don't gossip about someone, they will do it for myself as well. But if you have an empathetic response, the child knows that he should leave that group, he should leave those children, and should avoid their company. That's the best response, because you can't stop them, they don't know how to behave, and your child should not turn back on them, he should distance himself from them.
It's like that once you are getting off from that table, you are the part of it.
Yes, right. Now, encouragement. Again, we encourage our child, our students a lot, but encouragement should have a positive feedback. There are different sorts of encouragement, like I invited him to the party, even though the other kids think he is weird. Now, a parent may respond, that was so nice, you're such a great kid. But that's a wrong response. That's incorrect. The response should be, you did what you thought was right and did not let the other kids influence your decision. Many rare times when we talk to students, there's some peer pressure that they are in. For example, when students are asked to select their subjects, their groups, when they are shifting from grade 8 to grade 9 or 10, they want to go in, for example, in medical. My friend wants to go in engineering, so I want to go there. There is so much peer pressure. If you're guiding your child how to stand to his or her decision, they will learn how to deal with the situations, because we are not responsible for other opinions, we are responsible for our opinions and our decisions. So we should teach our child about that. If
The
I
child
know
needs
that
to learn
someone is
about
good,
his or her interest.
yes, and he should not follow others footsteps. He should be the one who should make footsteps for others, the good ones, a good path. So if you're teaching your child, if you have given your child that much confidence, because you're listening to your child, you're identifying his problems, you're communicating them, what will happen in result? They will feel confident about their decisions, and they will own it. Because in life you cannot always be with them, teachers will not always be with them, many a times they will be alone making decisions, making mistakes, so they will learn by themselves. So if you're teaching it, you're practicing it by yourself, you are taking responsibilities of your decisions as well. This will help them to learn to respond correctly in negative situations. Then negotiate. How to negotiate? um, when we are in a negative situation, and for example our child has done something bad, they usually resist. They don't want to talk about that. So you need to negotiate on a positive manner. You need to choose words that will encourage them to share their problems. For example, but all the kid does is whine and complain. The scenario is basically, uh, one of the child has excluded someone because that child always complain, he or she always whine, she or he is always unhappy. So he's not feeling good about it, and he just excluded it. So what happens? A typical response is, if you do it again, you are sitting out. Means if you are letting that child out of your group, out of your class, you're not interacting with them. We do see such cases in our classrooms. A child is left out of the class, no one wants to sit with them, no one wants to have lunch with him or her because she complains and whines. We are not looking at the background of it, why the child is unhappy, why is he complaining. The other thing, the other response is, it is hard to think about their feelings when they bother you that much. Because if you are not empathetic, if you are not performing skills, social emotional learning skills, your child, your student will not also learn. Just because that student is complaining, you cannot just left him or her out of the classroom.
Correct.
So you need to mingle with them positively, because only if you are empathetic towards others, you will understand their feelings, their concerns, and you will help them to come out of that situation. It's a full package basically. Like I in the start we discussed about how adults should perform social emotional skills. If our teachers, our school leaders, they are creating a safe environment, students will carry it throughout their lives. So that was all for my side, and I have my email ID here. If there are any questions related to it, anyone can find me there. I will be replying to them. And if you have any questions, you can ask me as well.
Yes, audience, if you have any question, you can ask her right now, or even you can leave your question in the comment box. I hope my Mahrukh will going to answer them. Here, I would like to add, Mahrukh, that 2 days back, one of my colleague has sent a WhatsApp message regarding to SEL course. So
Okay.
I came to know that your topic is social emotional learning. So today when I shared my link with them, I told them that before enrolling to that session, do join my live session. So that will help you to understand what is it all about. It will give you an
Exactly.
essence, and then you can enroll to that workshop. So I hope my colleagues will learn a lot about it, and they will definitely opt for that workshop and learn more.
Exactly. We all learn from others' experiences, and when we explore others' point of view, it always helps us. So it's basically a network that we're creating, a healthy community where we can talk, we can share about other stuff. So I really liked it, and if there are any questions, any queries, I would like to help them. They can always
Okay.
email me.
Maruk, here I have a question when we are talking about this cell learning. So, how can we generate these types of, do we have to counsel the students, or do we have to conduct such sessions where we are teaching students about this type of learning?
See, there are two types of learning. The one that is done through words, and the other one is when it is done through actions. If you
I think
keep
the
on
actions,
telling your students that you have to do this, and if you're not
they won't.
performing it yourselves, they will not learn. And secondly, you need to create such an environment. For example, in school, if there are some bullying issues, you need to be alert, you need to facilitate children, you need to be there always, and you should identify the ones who are bullying. You should talk to them, because there are always underlying problems, underlying issues with the students. You can always cater to their problems, you can always solve them, because teachers are more close to students as compared to parents. Many times students are sharing their stuff not with the mother, not with their father, but with
Yes,
the teacher.
I
So
agree.
so we need to create that environment. We need to be friendly. We need to listen to them. Many a times the student is not good at studies. We think that he's not good at behavior as well. That's not the case. There are underlying issues. We should talk about them. And it's not about bullying. There are so many issues. If the teacher is not empathetic in the classroom, students will not talk about a certain topic. They will not ask questions. They will always feel that they will be answered in a very abrupt way, and that's not good. That will stop a child's learning. So teacher has to be firm, but she has to be calm. He or she should practice empathy in classroom as well.
Yes, and at times teachers don't have to highlight these problems all the time in front of everyone. If it is there,
Exactly.
we can do it by counseling. We can do it by
Exactly.
talking one to one. So that can also
Exactly.
resolve such issues.
Privacy matters, and privacy should
Yes,
always be there, because if we don't like in our if we are sitting in a staff meeting, and if our head say something bad about, we will not like it. We will
obviously.
say that you should have tell this or informed us in the office, not in front of everyone. Same goes with the child.
Yes, correct. So we would like to end this up. Before ending, I want a message from Miss Marokares.
There are so many things. This was one of the topic that I have, and this topic is really close to my heart, and there is so much to talk about it, and to explore about it. The only thing is that what we do, what we perform, what we practice in front of our classroom is what we are. Whatever the tone is of the teacher, that's the tone of the class. So you have to set standards, you have to make rules and regulations, and this should be done the very first day with the child, with the class.
Correct. Yes. They
That's
should
all.
know their limits.
Exactly.
It's not like
Exactly.
a आप एक classroom को बिल्कुल it's like a jail. No, it should be
Exactly.
a classroom where the child feels safe. With this,
Exactly.
we are ending our session. I would like to say thank you to Ms. Maruk for such an insightful and enlightful session. We all learn a lot about self. With that, I would like to say thank you to Ms. Saima, director and founder of Teach, and Ms. Farah, director and founder of Seek, who has given us this platform where we are coming with our guests and with our trainees with such amazing and interesting topics. Inshallah, I'll be live again with Miss Marok with some another exciting and interesting topic. Hope to see you all again, and hope good luck, Marok, for your train the
Thank you.
trainer,
Thank you so
and
much.
how it will work with you and with your live session.
Inshallah, by in your mentorship with Miss Saima, with Miss Farah, I have high hopes, and inshallah, I will achieve my target with your help. Inshallah. Thank you so
Inshallah,
much.
inshallah. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.